Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio.
You're hot.
That's right. The CEO and president of the Verbo Fiesta Bowl and Guaranteed Rate Bowl, Erik Moses, down on the right Toyota guest line. How you doing, Erik? What's going on, man? It's still football season, isn't it?
I guess you guys thought you would be rid of me for a couple months, and here I am back like a boomerang, back on your airwaves. Thanks for having me.
Well, there's so much going on, right? I mean, what people don't realize, I mean, I do for the many years as I've been involved with the bowl, and I know Minuch does, it's not just 2 games, right? I mean, it's a full 12 months out of the year, doing stuff in the community, like what's going on tomorrow with the Arizona milk producers. Tammy Baker runs that, went to high school with Minuch. I mean, it all comes around, it all works together here. And let's start with that, because we definitely want to get into the expansion of playoff and things of that sort. But let's talk about off the field right now and what's going on tomorrow at Desert Mountain High School.
Yeah, we're really excited as part of the continued push in terms of our grassroots kind of football and youth outreach. We're doing the Arizona Milk Producers Fiesta Bowl Youth Football Clinic at Desert Mountain High School tomorrow, and we'll be featuring girls flag football as well as a session with 100 boys who or more who play tackle football. And you guys are well aware of the growth of flag in this state, and especially with young ladies and girls, and we're excited to get them both together tomorrow at Desert Mountain to do some skills and some clinics and show everybody who's going to be there what talent we have here in the Valley and across the state.
You know, it's interesting because there are scholarships, as you know, Erik, going out to young ladies. I've got 2 of my female quarterbacks that have got offers already. So
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, it's expanding into the college ranks. That flag football for girls is even expanding even more so in the college ranks.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And look, you've seen it. We've seen it. We had Diana Flores as one of the special guest members of our Verbo Fiesta Bowl parade this year, who leads Mexico's flag football team and is a gold medalist and all of that. And she can spin it. And we've seen so much talent with girls, and as is the custom, and what I've noticed my whole life, if we give girls and women a chance to do things, they usually do them pretty well.
And you got your boy. You're going to put Max Starks to work out there. You got Spencer Rattler. You got Jack Plummer. You put Big Max to work out there. Hey, make him earn his stripes out there, would you please, there, Erik?
We will. He should be able to at least protect somebody's blind side, right? I mean, as he is. Let's hope Max can do that.
Max is one of the best, no question. And a yellow jacket, by the way, and a very good yellow jacket. All right, well, let's talk about what we've been talking about throughout the week and into today. Minuch and I is the playoff. It goes to 12, and then now they're talking about 14. Then the news today, the Big Ten and the SEC are talking about creating the strategic partnership. When do you think this will be all kind of, final? I mean, what does your crystal ball say?
Look, if I had the answer to that, man, I'd put some money in Vegas and make myself a very wealthy man. I think that we are likely to see this year and next year kind of continue with the 12-team format that has been talked about before. They're still waiting for this broadcast deal to be done, and we're all kind of waiting for that, because that's one of the major linchpins to the cascade of other things that have to be done, and including working with the New Year's Six to continue to lock us in as a key part of the playoffs in 26 and beyond. Expansion to 14, 16 teams, I don't know. I don't think any of that, if I'm betting, I don't think any of that happens before 26, if then. And the big boys talking to each other is probably a good thing, right? I mean, those 2 conferences are the ones that have I think the most weight and that people pay the most attention to. And so if they're not for it, probably not likely to get done. So having them kind of talk about some things and being hopefully on the same page will help to get things done, I hope, more quickly, because the uncertainty is the thing that makes, I think, everybody in the industry more nervous. Like, let's just make some decisions and let's get people on the same page so that we can continue to grow the enterprise that is college football.
Erik Moses, Executive Director, CEO of the Verbo Fiesta Bowl and Guaranteed Rate Bowl here on Rock and Minuch with Jimmy B. Erik, I'm watching all these stories come out, and I'm looking at the bowls, and I'm a fan of the smaller bowls. Okay, I understand the big bowls; they're important, but my time as a Yellow Jacket has been, a majority of it's been with the Insight Bowl, now Guaranteed Rate Bowl, and all the other things. I truly love those bowls because those are smaller schools that don't get to play in those big bowls, and those kids appreciate, the student athlete appreciates, coming to Phoenix in December. I'm concerned, and I want to know is there any concern for you if as this playoff, if it does continue to grow and they are going to use the bowls for that, how is that going to affect the smaller bowls? Not necessarily Guaranteed Rate Bowl, but even bowls that are lower tiered than ours, like the Barstool Bowl and maybe Tucson or something.
It's a great question, and I don't know the answer. I mean, there are many people who would tell you that having 42 bowl games now significantly dilutes the product. When I was growing up, and I'm going to go ahead and extend this to you guys and bring you in here with me. When we were growing up, going to a bowl game, there were so many fewer of them that it was a really, really big deal. And if they were on television, everybody was watching them. And now, I mean, you have bowl games from, call it mid-December all the way through, early January. And while I value and I think it's important for the communities that host those games, for the student athletes that are able to participate in those games, and for the fans that want to travel to see those games, I wonder whether or not the enterprise would be better served if there were fewer. And if people were really focused on this 12-team tournament and then focused on, call it some other number of really good, strong matchups between teams that had good seasons and are now trying to end those seasons competing against other teams that had good seasons. The notion that there was talk last year about whether or not Minnesota, I think from the Big Ten, would compete, and I can't even remember if they did, at 5 and 7 in a bowl game. I don't know. Call me a traditionalist. That kind of rubs me the wrong way.
Yep.
I think bowl games should be a reward for having a strong season and a way that teams can measure their talent going into the next season and preparing to build on what they did that year.
So, do you like the 14 right now? Or the 12? Would you like a 14? I mean, we seen with Minucci and I and Jimmy B yesterday. We thought the 16 is where it should be, and let's cap it at 16. But for your business model and for the bowls that you manage, is 12 okay? Because the Fiesta Bowl will be okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you wanted it to be 16 and both of our bowls were in it, then I'm all for it.
Sure. Yeah.
But right now, I think 12 is the right number. What I start to get concerned about, guys, with the expansion from 12 to some larger number is the logistics around how we get those done. How is the schedule handled? How are we going to make certain that these kids who are still student athletes are going to have ample time to be able to be students.
3.
And not be traveling kind of every week and therefore not able to maybe focus on student life, including their academics, as much as they should. I also think we have to be a little bit wary of, clashing swords with the NFL. Right. I mean, nobody wants to pick on the big bully in town. Right. But they are, once you start getting into December and January, that's prime time for them. They're going into their playoffs and they're accustomed to, as we've all seen, taking over every day of the week. Right. It used to be just Sundays. Then it was Sundays and Mondays. Then there was Thursdays and some Saturdays and Fridays. And so I think we have to be very careful about how quickly we expand the postseason for college football and how many teams are involved in that. Certainly making sure that the kids are thought of and that we're thinking about what's in the best interest of student athletes.
And here, my last question for you. I think the state of college football, I want to get your thoughts on it as of today, is we look at truly the minor leagues with all the NIL money and portal, what have you. So when you look at college football today, the way that it's going, I think we've talked about this. We're blue in the face, super conferences, the money and all the above. What is the biggest concern for Erik Moses as we move forward with college football?
Level playing field, and by that I mean one set of rules for everyone. And so again, I think I've said to you guys before, you can't have one set of laws governing NIL in California and a different set of laws in Alabama. And then expect those teams to be able to compete against each other in the pursuit of a national championship, or in the pursuit of recruits, or in the pursuit of coaches or whatever other kind of thing that they're trying to do. So I think we need certainty around what the rules are. The rules have to be the same for everyone. And I don't want us to lose sight in the pursuit of bigger dollars of the fact that sending young men and women to college to get an education and also to participate in sports is an opportunity to grow their worlds, their perspective, their worldview in ways that are broader than just playing a sport. And if this thing becomes too commercialized, I wonder whether or not we will completely lose sight of that. I'm sure you guys can reflect on your time in college. I mean, I learned I'd be a completely different person were it not for those 4 years at North Carolina. A completely different person, and dare I say it, not as good a person, and certainly not as worldly or a person. And so there's a lot of value in that, and I want to just make certain that we're able to preserve it. I don't mind kids making money off name, image, and likeness. The collectives that are kind of paying kids to come to schools, I think we need to figure out how to curb that. But if you've got 1 million followers on Instagram or on Twitter, and the local car wash wants to give you $50,000 in order to endorse their car wash, have at it. So that's my gut around it.
Love it, Eric. Great stuff, man. Appreciate it. You just got me thinking about poppers on Court Street at Ohio U on a Friday night. You got me thinking about the 4 years and the 5 years that I was in college. I miss it so much.
The Friday night education.
Or the 50-cent tequila night.
Hey, mine started on Thursday night. So
my parents are in town. I think they're listening. So I'm just trying to be a good boy here. Hey, as always, Eric, thanks for the time, buddy. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys. Hope to see you soon.
You got it. Eric Moses, Executive Director, CEO. He's talking about the 4 years in college, and I'm saying to myself, man, I mean, I went out every night. I mean, it was drink and drown on Tuesday. It was $3 to get in. You got a cup, and you got to drink all the beer you want for free until midnight. And then Wednesday was 50-cent tequila night. And then, Thursday was always something, $1 Molson's. And then the weekend they didn't have the deals, but I was in a fraternity, so you always said we had those teas or parties. We called them teas. So you're like sitting there, you're like, wow, so much fun.
You are well-rounded, Rock.
I know when he said well-rounded, I'm like, I don't know. Wait, would you be smarter or dumber?
I would not allow myself to go down to Aggieville until at least Friday.
But you went to college for a purpose.
Yeah, I'm there. For football.
You're getting paid to be there.
Yeah,
I wasn't. I was just trying to get $20 out of the Jubilee, which was Bank One back then.
Sure,
the Jubilee machine, and that $20 would get me through a Friday, Saturday.
Oh, I bet it would.
Oh, it's awesome. Anyway,
we digress.
We digress to Jax, who's going to join us next with our rewind. By the way, bet the game, watch the game. If you haven't been to the sports booking